So today's video, I wanted to discuss the problem that I have or have had in the past, and I want to try and solve it on here. But basically, when I'm using a really bright amp which has that really nice sparkly clean tone, so this is the Mesa Boogie Electrodyne, and I've got it going through an open back wide body Mesa cab. Quite a lot of reverb at the moment. I need to get round to the back to turn it down, but since I'm going to be doing kind of a lot of lead playing, I want to I'll just leave it as it is. But so here's the problem. Because I've got so much sparkle, normally if I kick on a tube overdrive with anything else that I'm using, I expect like a smooth round tone. When I kick on a Tubescreamer with the Electrodyne, what I get is something a bit different. So you can hear there's quite a lot of high end frequency, which doesn't go away no matter where I set the dials. Maybe if I boost the level, it might. So that's a bit better. I can make the problem worse if I turn the level down. So I was just wondering, is there any other tool in my toolbox of stuff? So I've got a Fuzz here, which I might try. I've got a Sunset I'm going to try. I've got a Timmy that I think I'll try first. And then a Riverside, I'll give that a go. And then an Allan Holdsworth. So I don't hate what's happening with the Tubescreamer now on those settings. But it's a little bit more spiky than I really want. So I'm going to try the Timmy first of all, given that it's a similar pedal. And we'll see what I can do with that, because I do have the additional tone shaping, like treble cut and the bass push. Maybe we might be able to do something a bit different. So again, the idea of the video is to be having a clean tone and then kicking on the drive pedal for a smoothish kind of high gain lead tone. Yeah, let's see. I'm going to get quite a lot of noise because I'm sat this close to the amp. So with the treble fully open, that's very, very spiky, so I'm going to start. I can cut off some of those troubling frequencies, but things get a little bit dark. So what I'm doing, I'm turning the bass cut up fully to get rid of some of the mud kind of stuff, and I've got the treble cut quite high to get. So that's, to me, better than the Tubescreamer, so that's a step in the right direction. So the Timmy could get me that kind of Tubescreamer grit, but by turning the treble cut up a bit and the bass cut up quite a lot, I can get rid of some of the mud, and I can tame that high end a bit, and get closer to a lead tone that I like than I can with the Tubescreamer. So that's cool. Here we got the Sunset. Let's see what we can do with this. Okay, without a pedal. So that's the Texas setting, and the only control I've got is the tone control, so I'm imagining that's going to be the same kind of situation as Tubescreamer. Through each of the other settings on the video, but it cut out, so I'll just go through them quickly here. So the clon didn't really do it for me. The 2-stage has, again, no matter how low you go, stays fizzy on the tone, and likewise the hard clipping. The one that I found worked best was the Texas into the J-Fet, so I'll just show you that a sec. Side with the drive at about 3/4 of the way, level midway, tone about 10 o'clock, maybe you could adjust that. Level on the J-Fet side is at midway, drive is about 3/4, and tone just about 1 o'clock. About that is I've got plenty of gain. I can go adjust the gain down further if I needed to. I think I've also got a noise gate in here, which could be a benefit. And then yeah, that works for me. So without having both sides stacked though, I wouldn't have been able to get what I wanted out of this pedal. So Texas into the J-Fet is what I think works quite nicely here. So I'm going to now try the Riverside, which I've had a chance to just have a quick go off of camera. I'll just show you the settings that I've got here that work for the sake of brevity. I thought the chances are that with the Riverside, because I've got the mids and the treble control, I could get a bit the tone stack's quite versatile. I'll just show you what I've come up with. So I've got it on high gain mode, mids pushed, on the push control. Bass I've got about 11 o'clock, mids I've got all the way up, and treble I've got right back at about 8:30, 9. That's as close to what I'm thinking that I can get with this amp. But as I turn up the treble, it starts to do things I don't like. Also, I've got a presence control on the back here, which actually did make a difference. So presence I've got set to minus now, which helps to cut out some of that the fizzy high-endy bit, which happens quite easily with this amp. So I'm now going to switch out for the Holdsworth J Rockett, just because I think that's a slightly different kind of pedal. So Riverside can get pretty close to what I'm after as well. Now this one doesn't have a mid control on it, I don't think. But it does have various switching options. Move the coffee a sec so I don't kick that over. So that's not doing what I want right out the bat. This switch over here I'm throwing in the centre. Do what I'm looking for it to do. I think what I would have to do is to get the amp dirtier, and then this might do what I needed. But as it is, it kind of to do what I'm looking for, so it doesn't end up doing the sustain thing, although it's good sound in its own right. It's not quite what I'm looking for with this amp. It's kind of just giving me a good chunky, crunchy sound rather than a sustaining lead. So I'm now gonna try with a fuzz pedal, which instinct should tell you that this won't work. However, my experience is slightly different. So this is a boost going into a fuzz. So I've got a control for smooth here, which I'm gonna circuit, the fuzz circuit with a boost. Turn the volume down on the fuzz. That's not doing what I want. So this is not doing what I want with this to get a high gain sustaining. If I back the fuzz off a little bit, I can get a nice almost what I'm looking for, but not quite enough. So I think I might go into the loft and get a real wild card. Give me a minute. So I just wanted to plug in the DS1 to see what that sounds like, and tone I've got sort of about 10 o'clock, distortion at about 1 o'clock, and the level is about 2 o'clock, and this is what it sounds like. And that's exactly why I think a lot of people might find that the DS1 just isn't the pedal for them and their setup, because it's got this fizziness that just doesn't. Well, it does go if you turn the tone all the way down, okay. So it's still there a bit. But so yeah, the thing is, as you turn up the distortion, with the tone up here, listen to how much that sounds really stiff. A lot of high end, super ugly to my ears. As I turn that tone down, it gets a bit dark, but that's kind of a nicer. So even there. So if I was using, if I had to just use, this was all I had access to, a DS1 and a really bright amp, I'd be using pretty extreme choices with the tone control. Way back, the level I'm using up to push the amp, and I'm trying to keep the distortion sort of below about halfway, just because the issue with it though is it's not doing much to add sustain, so that wouldn't be a pedal that I'd choose for this. The mighty unveiling. Got this out of the loft. Line 6 Uber Metal. Let's see what we can do with this. Classic pedal, really one for the ages. Actually, it's the heaviest pedal I've ever felt, as in weight wise. It's literally weighs about 2 kilos. So, what have I got? These are the last settings that I used on this pedal. Let's see what they sound like. Okay, that's pretty tame. Scoop is off, the drive is at about 10 o'clock, treble is almost all the way off, the mids are pushed and the bass is cut to about 10, and I'm on the insane mode. Go to the pulverized mode, that sounds great, and then the metal mode. So neither of those are at all usable for me, but the insane mode actually. There's a gate on it as well, which appears to do nothing. Oh, here we are. So yeah, maybe that's not quite the pedal for the job. However, it's not as bad as it could be. So I think what we could fairly reasonably say is that if you've got a pretty bright amp that does that nice sparkly thing, then Tubescreamer, you might be able to get somewhere close to what you're after if you're after like a nice singing lead tone, but you're going to have to probably set the tone and the level fairly the level high, the drive high, and the tone maybe a little bit back from where you would normally have it. I wouldn't use DS1 unless I was really stuck, and if I was going to do that, I'd slam the level up high and the tone I'd turn way back, but that's not going to get me like a sustaining lead tone. For some reason that's just not the way it seems to interact with this amp. I was hoping that the Rockett Holdsworth would do something slightly different than it did, so that could get me like a nice kind of chunky, like a rhythm, I guess sort of like a Rolling Stonesy type chunky tone, crunch I guess would be the word for that, wouldn't it? But not a smooth sustaining lead. So those are three pedals that I wouldn't put forward for this job. However, the Timmy does that same kind of Tubescreamer thing, but with the treble dialed back a bit, I can get a nicer, smooth kind of not fizzy thing happening. So I'll just quickly show that. Okay, then I guess my second choice out of what I've got available here might be Riverside, just because on that I've got a lot more control with the tone stack. I've got a presence control, so what I've done there, dimed the mids, turned down the treble. Somewhere close to what I'm looking for, a little bit more drive than I could get on the Timmy as well, so that might be a thing if you're looking for a higher gain lead tone, possibly a bit darker than you might want, but imagine as you turn that up even louder to like gigging volumes, that would continue to remain pretty smooth, and as the amp gets close to the clipping, it would smooth out even more, I think. And then last choice that I got here that I thought worked really well, and I guess that's the point of having these kind of more expensive pedals that have a little bit more, although maybe it doesn't sound as good as one Tubescreamer might sound, or as good as one Clon might sound, or as good as one Fuzz might sound. It's kind of got a mixture of all these sounds, and yeah, so this is the Texas Into the J got a bright switch here which I've not used. So that again has really smoothed out the amp for me, and a nice singing sustaining lead tone, which again at gig volume I can now have a spanky clean. Sunset, and I can get all of that smoothness that I want. just thought one other variable that I might not have tried, because I've tried a clon type drive and all of that stuff. I've tried a Tubescreamer, I've tried a distortion pedal, I've tried a fuzz. One other pedal which I'm tempted to try, because I'm not sure how this might react. Keeley tone workstation, the middle option or pedal is actually a Bluesbreaker circuit. So I'm going to see if that does anything that I like. I guess we might as well, while we're here, try the Tubescreamer as well. Tubescreamer side, I've got the Mod Plus setting or the Bait setting. I think the Mod Plus is more appropriate for me here. I'm going to boost the drive a bit. Say that has the same kind of fizz as some of the other pedals that I didn't like, but there's a little bit of it there. I'm going to try the Bluesbreaker. Closer to what I'm looking for if I stack the Bluesbreaker into the Tubescreamer. What I've done, I tried both their turning up the tone on the Bluesbreaker and turning back the tone on the Tubescreamer and vice versa, and I found that the tone on the Bluesbreaker is more effective. So if I turn back the tone, I can get some of the high-end content out, and then I can push some of it back with the Tubescreamer. So that's not a bad option anyway. So hopefully that's kind of helped. If you've got a bright amp and you're not really sure what pedals might work with it, I'd suggest picking pedals that you've got control over both bass, mids, or both bass and treble, like the Timmy or like the Riverside, and you've also got mid pushing options like that, or the Sunset, which has various different clipping options. So you know, Tubescreamer, JFET, you might find that running both into one another might have stacking options, might get you closer to where you want to be, and same with the tone workstation. If on one pedal you can dial back the tone, or one part of the pedal, and then on the other you can push that tone back. It might help you to get rid of some of the really troublesome high end stuff. So, and also pedals with a bright switch or a treble cut, so at the very top end, might not be a bad idea. General distortion pedals, not the way forward, it seems. So yeah, that's how I think I would remedy that. The other option you might have and that you might consider is an EQ pedal, which I don't have one of here, so I can't do anything with that. That might be a way that, obviously you can't get that all done with one pedal then, but with an EQ pedal and one of your preferred drive pedals, you might find that you can actually get quite a lot of mileage, so that might be a cheaper way forward. I hope this has been somewhat helpful, if not a little bit rambling. Yeah, let me know any pedals that I've missed here that I could have tried. Obviously I've got what I've got here, and there might be other things that I've not really thought of which might have been a better way to solve the issue, but this is how I think I would solve, because I like a really sparkling clean, and then I like to kick on one pedal generally to get my lead tone. I'm not a person that does a lot of stacking of gain types. Typically I come from the world of like amp switching, where you switch to, like on a Mesa Boogie, you switch onto a lead channel. So I'm not a person that's particularly ever gone, oh, I stack loads of different overdrives to get to what I'm looking for historically, although obviously with the Sunset and with the Tone Workstation that is exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, that's just my way that I operate. So yeah, let me know if there were other ideas that are worth trying in this vein, or pedals that I've not thought of which are distinct from anything that I've tried here that would have potentially got me closer. Yeah, that'd be interesting, because this is honestly one of my favourite clean tones out of an amp, but it's always been very difficult to find a drive pedal that works nicely with it. I've tried a cymbal with it, Mad Professor cymbal, that didn't work. I've tried a TC Electronic Dark Matter, which is like a distortion pedal, that definitely didn't work. Some of these pedals here are the closest. Well, I could 100% work with any of those pedals. Yeah, but yeah, let me know what you think. Cheers.